In just 2 weeks, Dwerve has made more than double its goal and has over 800 backers since first going live on Kickstarter. But what exactly is Dwerve and why are so many people backing it? Here's everything we know as of September 2020. I have broken down everything in 6 parts: the general overview, the gameplay loop, the environment, the combat, and how and where you can play the game, and finally, the Kickstarter and social media, all of which will have timestamps down below. The story revolves around a young dwarven tinkerer named Dwerve that delves into ruins to unearth lost technologies of the ancient dwarf warsmiths. You are tasked with protecting the dwarven village from the witch queen Vandra the Wicked and her army of trolls and other monstrous creatures. Dwerve is inspired by the likes of Zelda and Dungeon Warfare, with the looks of classic SNES games. Even though it may be inspired by those games, Dwerve has a unique gameplay loop that mixes the two very different genres in order to make a new one. Half Human Games describes this mixture as a tower defense dungeon crawler RPG, or as I like to call it, the TDDC RPG. While Dwerve will be mainly a linear experience, it will have some branching paths to explore in certain areas. While exploring these areas, you will be able to find keys that open up treasure chests that gives you gears, health, and armor. Sometimes, those keys and chests will be locked behind a gate that can only be opened by solving puzzles. Along with treasures, you can also run across mazes, and if you're able to get to the end, you just might be rewarded. When going through the game, you will have the chance to do some small side quests in order to learn about the world and the people that live in it. And there will be plenty to learn, since the game has 4 different biomes that you will be able to explore. They are the magma mines, the barrens, the forests, the fungus caves, and the crystal caves. Each of these biomes will have different characters to interact with and a variety of enemies to face. The weaker enemies, such as slimes, will be out and about in the world, but most other enemies will come in forms of waves. When you enter an area, the entrance and exit get blocked off, and you'll have a small amount of time to react before the wave starts. There are currently 15 different turrets and traps that you can collect and use in order to fight off these waves. I will be referring to them as TNTs from now on, since it's faster and easier to say. You have access to 4 different TNTs in the game's demo. Those 4 are the Spin Blade Turret for close combat, the Crossbow Turret for far away enemies, a Tar Trap that slows enemies down, and a Spike Trap that hurts anything that walks over it. In order to use these, you will need to acquire Power Stones. As long as you have Power Stones, you can place TNTs. However, each one uses up the stones, so you have to strategize accordingly. The good thing though, is that if you recall them or they get destroyed, you will get the Power Stones back. Each TNT will have an upgrade tree so that you can cater them to your preferred playstyle. There are also different artifacts that you can collect throughout the game that will give you even more control over the battlefield. For example, in the demo, you get a boomerang that automatically attacks if you stand still, which basically turns you into a mobile turret. You also get boots that dash you away from enemies while damaging them. Half Human Games has confirmed that there are more artifacts, but the only one that I've seen mentioned is a hammer that will be able to knock a group of enemies away from your towers. Most encounters will have more than one way to beat them in order to allow players to have a variety of different builds, but some encounters will require you to have certain combos of TNTs so that you can't just go through the entire game with the same setup. In order to switch these out, you must go to a workbench and choose your loadout. Boss fights have been confirmed to be in the game, but there are currently no details on what they will be like. If you want to check this game out, the demo is currently on Steam, and Half Human Games has said they also want to eventually release the full game on consoles. However, if you're like me and want to play the demo but are more skilled with a controller than a mouse and keyboard, you can still play it and most likely the full game with either the PS4 or the Xbox One controllers. If you're interested in backing the game on Kickstarter or you just want to try out the demo, I will have a link down below. The Kickstarter will be up until the 24th of September, so you still have plenty of time to check it out and see if you like it. If you'd like to keep up with Half Human Games and their development of Dwerve before it's released in 2021, all of their social media will also be linked down below. Well, there you have it, everything that we know about Dwerve. I do plan on covering this game more when it comes out, but in the meantime, do you plan on checking it out, or no? Do you have an indie game that you want me to go over next? Let me know down in the comments or tweet me at IGC_YT. If you enjoyed, why not like the video, subscribe, and ring the bell so you can get notified of more indie gaming content. If you didn't like the video, leave a dislike and let me know what I can do better. Either way, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.